How is everyone doing today on this wonderful Tuesday? Christopher says, doing great, except Game of Thrones is over. I'm only on season one. I know I'm really late to the party. Um, but I saw a lot of people hating on the finale. So, I won't say anything. I don't know anything. I'm only on season one. No spoilers. Wow, there's really a petition to redo the season. What will they do with this season? Just pretend it never happened? That seems risky. That would be quite unprecedented. I can't imagine they would actually do that because it would kind of just invalidate everything that everyone watched. But I guess that's kind of what they want. That'd be interesting. Okay, we won't talk about it. Did anyone watch the Big Bang Theory series finale? That one was pretty good too. Anyone do anything interesting this past weekend? Interesting and fun? Cameron's currently working door-to-door sales. Wow, that sounds. I wouldn't be good at that job. I'd be horrified to have that job. I'm not great at small talking strangers, anyways, let alone do it for my job. Yeah, no, that'd be. No thanks. Pass on that. I got an invite to try out for an Overwatch team. That's pretty badass. I'm sorry you were stressed out, Christopher. That's not good. I attended a tournament here in Orange County, Florida, a chess tournament, because I run the Orlando Chess Club here in Orlando, and or I went to an OCPS tournament, the district tournament at the end of the year. 800 kids, about 1,000 family members. It was quite amazing to see. So yeah, it was pretty awesome. Sorry, Chris. I won't say Christopher next time. I don't want you to feel like you're in trouble. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to my class. This is obviously psychology of play. If you didn't know that, you've either been in a coma for the first couple of weeks, you recently suffered a concussion, you're high, drunk, or you're just stupid. Either way, welcome to Psychology of Play, and I'm glad you are here. My name is Terrence Washington. I teach sections 10 and 15. Are any of my students in here? No. Well, I hate you all. Have a nice day. You can leave now. You're dismissed. Just kidding. All right, so let's get into it, guys. All right, so psychology of play. Today we're going to talk about gamification, motivation, and self-determination theory. So these three concepts sort of weave into each other. Also, what I should add to the slide, you know what, I will add it to the slide, is we're going to talk about group dynamics and conflict as well. Okay? We're going to talk about all these things today, and they kind of weave into each other, but we're going to go through examples, why these things are important, and we're going to go from there. How does that sound? Yay, everyone's excited. I mean, can I get a little, like, excitement from you guys, or, like, you know, some exclamation points, or some emojis, or, you know, something? Do you guys want to be here? Come on. All right, so we're going to start off with a 5-minute silent meditation. I literally want you to sit there silently with your thoughts, and I want you to meditate on this moment right here and meditate upon what you'd like to get out of this class. Does everyone understand what you're supposed to meditate on? Awesome. So we're going to start a little timer. Let's start a little 5-minute timer. You may begin. All right, guys. How was your 5 minute meditation? Did you have any epiphanies or thoughts you'd like to share, or feelings you'd like to share, or anything? Please, not everyone at once. No one? When figuring out what I wanted to do in this class, I came up blank. Wow, thanks, Christopher. Real nice, Christopher. That makes your teacher feel real good. All right, what have you guys learned so far in psychology of play? Couldn't be anything. Type it in the chat box. What have you guys learned? Could be anything at all. While you guys are typing in the chat box, I'm gonna go grab a snack because I'm hungry. So make it good. Cameron says, balance work, school, play like I'm doing now. I'm working while doing school, so I have time for play. Christopher said that play is easier to understand than the word relax. Relax has many different definitions and means a lot of different things to people. When I focus on play instead, I do feel a sense of ease and rest. I've always struggled with relaxing up until now. Very interesting. See, because I feel like play has different definitions as well, because it means different things for different people. For instance, some people might consider a puzzle a form of play, but as we all know, those people are Satanists, and puzzles are the work of the devil. Puzzles are not play. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of people like puzzles, Sudoku. Some people might consider that play, other people may not. So you hear some crunching? That's because I'm eating carrots. Yes, some people like to play chess, and other people are evil. All right, you guys learned something. So now let's talk about something that you may not have expected to talk about today. How do you compare to your grandparents? Bradley says, I'm alive. That's a good one. Chris says, they play chess and I did not. Sam says, I actually do work. Wow. We have some family drama coming out here, guys. Latonia said, I'm much nicer. When it comes to your grandparents' era, in your era, in the field of jobs, how do you guys compare? So when you compare the type of work that your grandparents did and the type of work that you did, how does that compare? Christopher said, not working in a field. Jordan said, jobs are hard to get. Cost of living is way higher nowadays. Robert said, brain versus back. Robert, which is which? Yeah, for the most part, I would agree with you, Robert. Most of our grandparents weren't lucky enough to have many different types of jobs they can choose from. Their jobs were, on average, more manual labor jobs and more back-breaking work jobs. What motivated our grandparents to work was different than what motivated us to work. What motivated our grandparents to work? Money, survival. Exactly. And what motivates you to work? Definitely money is still one of them, for sure. Family. But there's another thing that we have, an option. Again, we're talking about averages here. That on average, our grandparents really didn't have that option. We get to choose careers often based on our passion and things that we like to do. Whereas our grandparents sometimes had to do really horrible jobs. I'm not saying none of us do horrible jobs, but again, on average, our grandparents worked in factories, had manual labor jobs, maybe were a lumberjack, maybe worked on a farm, whatever it may be, carried mail, things that require a lot of manual labor, right? A lot of those jobs now have been taken over by robots. So, car manufacturing jobs, which was once the most popular job, now most cars are assembled by computers, right? So now we have changed to careers that we can choose careers that we actually enjoy, like making video games or like making music or being an entertainer of some sort or being even a chess player or an artist or a dancer, whatever it may be. So certainly money and survival also motivates us, but we have these extra things that can help motivate us, like creativity and passion. And this is something that we have to be grateful for our grandparents because they paved the way for us. So in the reading, there's this candle problem, which I'm sure some of you guys have read. It basically goes like this. You have a candle, you have some matches. Your goal is to light the candle and attach it to the wall with the tacks in a way so that the candle wax does not drip on the floor. So they give people this test and they ask people to figure out how they would attach the candle to the wall and then light it and prevent the wax from dripping on the floor. And what's the solution, guys? Right. You take the tacks out of the box, you put the candle in the box, you tack the box to the wall, then you light the candle. The wax will fall into the box and not fall on the floor. All right. This problem requires a little bit of getting beyond what we call functional fixedness. Does anyone know what functional fixedness is? Bradley, what is it? Right. So functional fixedness is using an item only for its design purpose. So this requires you to think outside the box, literally, but also figuratively. Meaning that if you only think of something for its originally designed purpose, you may miss out on the fact that it can do something else as well. This is a slight measure of creativity. And the reason why this is important and how this ties into our grandparents' generation versus our generation is that now the number one thing that the number one skill that people look for in a CEO, at least I don't know if it's still the number one, but one of the very top things that people look for in a CEO is creativity. It's what set Steve Jobs apart from other leaders. Steve Jobs wasn't successful because he was the nicest guy. In fact, there's many reports that he wasn't the nicest guy. He even got kicked out of his own company for 17 years. But what made him so invaluable was his creativity, his visionary abilities. And this is very important in today's workforce. This creativity is what determines who is a good worker, thinking outside of the box, using problem solving skills. This is very important in today's workforce, which is different from our grandparents' generation, where it was about hard work and linear thinking and doing steps 1 through 10 over and over again, getting it done, producing as much as you possibly could. Right. So not only do our goals for what we choose a career on change from strictly survival to now it's survival and let's do something that makes us happy and fulfilled, but the skills required are much different now. You have to be creative, you have to be able to think outside the box. So because the jobs are different, this changes what really motivates people, right? Because once your basic needs are met, food, shelter, love, and care, then other things motivate you, right? People are generally geared towards growth and mastering their craft, which forms who they are and how they understand themselves. So this is called the self-determination theory. Everyone type self-determination theory in the box. So here we have autonomy, competence, and relatedness. All right? Stop. Autonomy, competence, and relatedness, guys. What is autonomy? Who can tell me what autonomy is? Being self-reliant or free. Good, Bradley. Bradley, you get 10 points. What does competence mean? The ability to understand? Nope. You guys are confusing it with comprehension. Correct again, Bradley. Being good at something. So if you say someone is competent at something, or they have competence in something, that means they are good at it. What is relatedness? Yeah, so being able to relate to people, but it's more about connecting with some bigger purpose or some bigger vision that really helps you motivate you, right? So we do our work for ourselves, but oftentimes we do it to have some sort of greater good or purpose as well, right? So we make films because, yeah, I like making films. It's a creative outlet for me and my emotions. But oftentimes we want someone to watch our film and be affected by it. It has to have some greater connection to the world or to other people to really motivate us. So I want you guys to go to the materials section and click on the link that says skills. And when you're done watching that, come back and let me know your reaction. So go to the materials section, which is a couple tabs above the chat box. Click on the link that says skills. And when you're done, come back and give me your reaction. All right, looks like people are finishing up their video. So which of the three does this video connect with? Which of the three self-determination theory components does this connect with? Correct, competence. And so we have this natural desire to be good at things. And we have this natural attraction towards people who are good at things, right? So, for instance, if someone is known to be good at something and they're a known celebrity, of course they'll be deemed as more attractive than the same looking person who wasn't particularly good at something and wasn't well known for being good at anything, right? So this idea of being good at things makes us feel good, and it makes other people feel good around us. Autonomy is it makes sense why people are motivated by it, being able to control your own life, control your destiny, go to work and not be micromanaged, work in a free environment. That makes sense. And relatedness, having some higher purpose to accomplish. We all really want to help the world in some way. And if you don't, then you're a trash person. Just kidding, of course. All right, so let's move on. I have a dark sense of humor, guys, so don't take anything I say personally. All right, so let's move on to this wonderful idea of the puzzle of motivation. So go to the material section, watch this video. It is a bit of a long video, but it's totally worth it because of the animation involved in it, and it's just a great, great video. So go to your material section, type in the chat box, or sorry, go to the material section, click on the link that says Puzzle of Motivation, and click that link. And when you're done, come back and give me your reaction. Thank you. All right, so it looks like you guys are finishing up. So Bradley says, I believe in this wholeheartedly. It's why I came back to school to become a better programmer. Chris says that was really cool. Definitely a lot of good tidbits in here, and definitely some things that I want to clear up because I don't want people to listen to this and think that, oh, he's saying that money is stupid and money doesn't matter. He's just saying that it only matters up to a certain point. Okay, it only matters up to a certain point. So he tells us in this video. Let me switch some things around here. He tells us that science knows that 20th century rewards do work, but only in narrow circumstances with routine tasks. So, who can give me an example based on what you learned in the video and based on your own sort of experience when monetary rewards and rewards work the way they're intended to work? When do they work? Up until you get what you need. Exactly. So, if you're trying to feed your family and you need enough money for XYZ, generally rewards work. But there's another caveat as well, is it normally works on tasks that are straightforward. So can you put together this dresser? Okay, you follow steps 1 through 20, you put together the dresser. Okay, who can um, chop the most wood in an hour? They'll get a bonus. Okay, rewards work really, really well. But when the task requires, like you said in the video, even rudimentary creativity or problem solving skills, that's when rewards tend to actually stress us out and take resources away from our creativity centers and problem solving centers and actually work in a counterintuitive manner. So if then carrots and sticks rewards often destroy creativity. So if I'll give $1,000 to the person that paints me the best picture, sure, you'll get a lot of people that will paint you a picture, and I'm not saying a lot of them won't be good. It's just that when art is art for art's sake because the artist is feeling inspired, that's when it's going to be at its best. The secret to high performance is the drive to do things for their own sake. That's why he gave those great examples of all the products that were made by Linux and how many of Google's products are made from their 20% discretionary time that they give to their employees. So 80% of the time, they just work as normal, they follow their boss's orders, and 20% of the time, they can work on whatever the hell they want. And a lot of Google's products has come from that 20% time where they've just given their workers complete autonomy. Non-commissioned artwork is typically judged to be more creative and better overall versus commissioned artwork. So again, not to say that if you're getting paid for artwork that's bad. Of course, you need to get paid. You need to support your family. It's just that the art that you're making because you felt inspired is of course going to be better than the art that someone is trying to pay you for or control in some aspect. How do you stay motivated to be creative when you also want to get paid for your work? So, how do you stay motivated to be creative when you also want to get paid for your work? Well, the good thing is you don't always have to choose one or the other. You can do commissioned artwork, you can do artwork for yourself, but certainly picking a company that aligns with your own beliefs and your own relatedness that acknowledges that competence that you have and gives you that autonomy that you need so that your creativity and problem solving skills can flow. All right, so extrinsic reward. What might be, other than money, what's another example of an extrinsic reward? So, other than money, what's another example of extrinsic reward? Status. That, yeah, that could definitely be. how other people are thinking about you. Oh, this person's really good, or this person is, a mogul. That certainly could be an external. Paid vacation, sure. Some sort of promotion, sure. Food, that's a common external motivator that a lot of people we use for our children a lot of times, or ourselves. If I stick to my workout plan, for 6 days, I'm gonna allow myself to have cheesecake on that seventh day. Food is definitely a big external motivator. When do extrinsic motivators work, guys? When do extrinsic motivators work? When do extrinsic motivators work? Sam says after deadlines and before new projects. Let me think about that. After deadlines and before new projects. So you're saying like the work is already completed and maybe giving a reward to help some new endeavor. That could possibly work. Definitely extrinsic motivators work up to a certain point, right? So extrinsic motivators are great for maybe getting something started. Maybe that's what you were saying there. Extrinsic motivators are maybe great for motivating you once or twice. Extrinsic motivators may be good for those routine tasks, like every time you cut someone's lawn, you'll get $20. That's great, you know. But for things that require persistence and grit and long term going after it, you know, that requires intrinsic motivation, right? So we all know that. Have you guys heard of the 10,000 hours? So 10,000 hours is pretty much the consensus for the amount of hours it takes to become an expert in something. So whether it be basketball or chess or whatever you want to be good at, skiing or whatever, 10,000 hours is generally the accepted amount of time that it takes to become an expert in something. So we all know that if we worked 10,000 hours, which basically equates to 5 hours a day for about 6 years, 7 days a week. Um, we all know that we could, practice basketball for 10,000 hours, or football, or chess, or skiing, or shooting, or whatever it may be, and possibly gain status or millions of dollars. But most of us don't do that thing because, yes, while the external motivators are there, money and status and fame, they're so far down the line and we have to put in so much work now that if you're not loving what you're doing and you are not absolutely passionate about what you're doing, if you don't have that competence that's driving you, that relatedness, that autonomy that's driving you, then you're not going to do it. So that's why intrinsic motivators are so important. And they keep you going when the going gets tough, right? If you feel like what you're doing is worthwhile to the world, to your family, to yourself, if it has that relatedness, you'll keep going, you'll keep doing it. If you feel good because you're good at said thing, you'll keep going. And if you feel like you're doing what you want to do and you're controlling your destiny, oftentimes you'll keep going as well. Now, that's not always a given. There's other things that come up in life, stressors. There's things like just not being mindful, not being connected with your own beliefs and your own motivators. But intrinsic motivators are definitely, on the long term basis, more powerful than extrinsic motivators. So, we're going to do this chore that can kind of highlight the next topic we're going to talk about. It's like, okay, well, what if I'm not motivated? What if something's boring and I don't want to do it and la la la? What do I do? So we're going to do this. Give me the chore, and let me actually talk to someone. Actually, I'll go through the activity first, and then I'll get someone on the microphone because I don't want to put someone on the spot. I want to give them time to think. So I want everyone to type a chore in the chat box that they absolutely despised as a kid, or maybe they still despise now. Christopher says a cat box. Angela, dishes. Amen to that, Angela. Angela, high five, 10 points. Dishes. Sam says sweeping after my dog. Latonia says mopping. Tanya says mopping. Alex says dishes. Bradley says dishes. Robert says laundry. Laundry's not that bad. You just have to fluff it over and over again because you just never take it out of the dryer when it buzzes the first time. Bradley says we're cleaning out the trap in the sink afterwards. That's the word. Yeah, that's disgusting. That's really disgusting. All right, now I want you guys to think of something that you absolutely enjoy. You could do for hours on end. No one has to ask you to do it. It could be a game, a video game. It could be a particular activity, a hobby, anything that you just really enjoy. Christopher says creating YouTube videos. Latanya says cleaning toilets, but I think that was the answer to the previous question. Robert says gaming. Joshua says flying my drone. Jordan says woodworking. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take those two things that you mentioned, the chore that you hate and the thing that you love, and figure out a way to make the chore more interesting. And you do that by taking an aspect or a component from the thing you love. So, for example, I love chess. Okay. I hate the dishes. Okay. What I would do is break down why I love chess. Well, I love chess because it's a strategic game. I like chess because there's a clear winner, there's a clear loser. I like chess because sometimes it's timed and you get to play, you get to race against the clock. And I like chess because it's prestigious in some way. So I would take those aspects and I can apply it to the dishes. So how do I make dishes more exciting? Well, let me look at the aspects of chess that I like. So I could time myself using my chess timer and maybe set 5 minutes on the chess timer and see if I can get all the dishes in the dishwasher by then. Or maybe I can make different badges for the amount of days that I do the dishes in. So if I do the dishes for 7 straight days, maybe I have different rankings that are based on chess. So one day would be the pawn level, 3 days would be the knight level, 5 days would be the rook level, 9 days would be the queen level, and maybe a whole month would be the king level. So you take aspects from the thing that you love and you pair it with the thing that you don't love so much to make it more interesting and engaging. So, who wants to get on the microphone here and take their chore and the thing that they love and make the chore more interesting based off aspects from the thing that they love? Who wants to do that example on the mic, on the spot, in front of everyone? Who wants to do that? If you don't want to do that, do it in the chat box. Take aspects from the things that you love. And oh, we got a hand. Robert. Let me unmute Robert. Hey Robert, what's up?
Hey, how you doing today, sir?
Doing well.
Yeah, when I'm folding and doing laundry, I usually turn on Twitch and either watch Jane or OG from Dallas Fuel. Kind
Awesome.
of helps make the time go better. OG plays similar characters I do, so it gives me a better perspective on what to do as not a pro player to hopefully get better.
Yeah, so that's a great example of when, because we learned a couple weeks ago how multitasking isn't a great idea in most cases, but if it's two tasks that don't require a lot of thinking, that multitasking can be beneficial. So that's a great example of using both multitasking and gamification to make the laundry more interesting. So thank you for sharing, Robert. Good job, Robert. So Sam says I play fetch with my dog to get her out of the way to sleep. What are some other things you guys can do? Christopher said, creating a YouTube video about cleaning the chat box. Yeah, you could make it a parody. You can make it something fun. You can make it, an interesting activity. You can make it into like the 5 things I hate about cleaning the cat box or something along those lines, for sure. So this is a concept, I'm sure you guys have figured it out, but this is a concept called gamification. Angela says, I can listen to new music while taking care of the dishes. I guess it can't get any worse. Yeah, for sure. All right, so gamification is when we use game mechanics in a non-game setting. We use game mechanics in a non-game setting, okay? It reinforces desired behaviors and it encourages engagement. Games help people complete mundane or challenging real-life tasks. It provides incentives for user engagement. It just makes boring tasks more interesting, guys. So here's some game mechanics. Leaderboards, always motivating. Who's ever been to an arcade and they see those guys that are playing DDR and they've got the towels because they're just sweating so much and they're using the back bar and they're just like going to town on DDR and they're just not missing a note. Who's ever seen those guys? Yeah, those are hardcore gamers, right? What motivates them, right? What motivates them? DDR is not going to necessarily save the world on its own, but maybe it is, you know? What motivates them? What motivates them is being the best in the world, having the highest score. That's what motivates them. Leaderboards are inherently motivating. Badges, competition. Who collects badges when they're gaming? And who likes competing and defeating their opponents? Leveling up. Points. Simply adding points to something makes it more interesting. And working towards a goal. Okay, once you get 100 points, you get this. Challenges. Setting a simple challenge for yourself can motivate you, even if there's no reward. I wonder if I could get through all 20 dishes in 5 minutes. There doesn't have to be a reward at the end. The reward is finishing in 5 minutes, I guess. But challenging ourselves makes things interesting. Virtual currency, progress bars, and contents and scavenger hunts, as well as social media activities. So I want you to go to the materials section and click on the link that says motivation is crap. Go to the materials section and watch the video called Motivation is Crap. And when you're done, come back and let me know. All right, are you guys finished? Yeah, so Jordan says, I've seen this before, and it's so true. If you wait until you're motivated to do something, nothing will ever get done. Sam says, your brain essentially tells you no to anything you want to do, but ends up not because it doesn't want you to get hurt. Yeah, and it also your brain wants you to conserve energy as well. If something requires excess energy to get it started, oftentimes we don't do it. So certainly, motivation is an important thing, but it's not going to get you through sustained goals. It's not going to get you through to the long term goal. What will is habits and discipline and grit. That will get you through to the end. It's just habits. But what I argue, my argument is gamification will help you get there as well. So making things interesting and fun, I mean, it's such a simple concept, but common sense is not common action, guys. We all know, oh, yeah, we can make it fun, and then we'll do it. We'll make our workout fun. But how often do we actually do that? How often do we actually make things fun? You know what I mean? So rewards, incentives, badges, ribbons, points, gold stars. Go to the dollar store, buy yourself some stickers. Get three different color stars: red, blue, gold. Get a calendar, put it on each day you complete your goal. Give yourself some massive reward at the end of each month when you complete a month of consistent goals. Contest or scavenger hunt. Create a contest against one of your friends for a week. Okay, let's see who can work out the most amount of minutes this week, or who can make the most amount of songs. And if you do, if you beat me, I'll buy you a steak dinner. Vice versa. Leaderboards, social media activities. Why these things work is because they play on our desire for status, access, power. They give us immediate feedback. If you're running outside and you don't know that you're about to hit a mile, then you're probably going to stop. But if you're running on a treadmill and it says 0.9, how many people are going to stop at 0.9? No, you're going to run one more tenth of a mile so that you can get to a mile. You keep going because it's being measured. You get that immediate feedback. You get that objective view on things. My greatest example of this is me solving chess tactics or chess puzzles. So I solve puzzles on chess.com, and it keeps track of your stats meticulously. And the reason why this is important is because I was in a stretch where I felt like it's just not sticking. I'm not doing well. I feel like I'm getting worse. But then when I actually looked at the actual measurements, I saw that I was actually solving puzzles better than I had ever solved them before. So this is why measuring things is so important. It gives you an objective view of things, and then that view motivates you. And it works in both directions. If you see you're doing worse than ever, it'll motivate you to do better. And if you see that you're doing better than ever, it'll motivate you to do even better than that. So measuring things, getting that immediate feedback, and it doesn't require a big budget. It brings notice to boring things. It can add and can be used as a teaching tool as well. And again, the fun aspect is simple to understand, but very underutilized. All right, so we're going to do a little activity. Somewhere in the chat box, I've hidden something. So when you find it, you'll know. And if you find it, type it to me in the chat box. Did anyone find it yet? Look real hard. Scroll all the way back. You see it now, right? Angela, you missed out, man. You missed out. All right, obviously you guys have caught on. There's nothing hidden. But this activity speaks to the power of imagination. No matter if there's something hidden or not, the mystery of something possibly being hidden, the mystery of using your imagination to find something shows the power of imagination. So oftentimes we focus on the more one for one aspects of gamifications. If I do this, then I get a reward. But don't forget to use your imagination as well, guys. Don't forget to use your imagination to make things interesting as well. Use storylines, use prestige, use characters. Gamification is a very, very powerful tool. All right? It boosts morale. It raises productivity. It increases your creativity. It fosters teamwork and optimizes work quality. Who can think of some examples? Who can think of some examples of gamification in the real world? Anyone who can think of any gamification aspects in the real world? Making video games. I certainly think that video games themselves are games, obviously, but I'm not so sure it's a use of gamification in particular. They're just games, right? So gamification really applies to applying game aspects to non-game situations. So credit cards. How do credit cards often use gamification, guys? No, not the balance. Yeah, rewards or cash back. All right. Airlines. What do we have for airlines? How do they use gamification? Mile rewards, yeah. Insurances use it. McDonald's, how does McDonald's use it? This is maybe the most famous example of them all. How does McDonald's use gamification? Monopoly, exactly. Ice cream shops. How do ice cream shops use gamification? Yeah, you get a punch card. Buy 400 ice cream cones and you get a small kid's cone for free. It's ridiculous. It's never like buy 3 ice creams, get one free. It's like buy 1,700 cones and get a tiny scoop for half off. What do we got here, guys? We got Costco, Sam's Club. They give you deals, right? They give you cash back at restaurants, all this cool stuff. All right, so why does gamification work? Well, one of the things is called the fun theory. Fun is the easiest way to change people's behavior for the better. Piano stairs. Go to the materials section, click on the link that says fun theory, and when you're done, come back and click or tell me that you're done. So go to the materials section, click on fun theory. When you're finished, come back. Okay, so go to YouTube, guys, and type in piano staircase on YouTube, and it should pop up. Sorry, guys, about that. Looks like someone added a link to the chat box, so thank you for that. So, Fun Theory, they have a lot of videos like this uh, where they gamify everyday activities like walking upstairs or grocery shopping or whatever it may be. My favorite one is probably the speed camera lottery, where they take pictures of people who are following the speed limit, then they put your name in a lottery, and you win money from the people that are speeding and get speeding tickets. So I thought that was a really clever way to use the Fun Theory, and I really like the different videos they have out. But the theory is essentially what it says here. Fun is the easiest way to change people's behavior for the better. And all of these videos you can find online. How can I make an everyday activity more fun? That's the core of gamification, is this fun theory. All right, so we're going to take a quick 5-minute break, guys. A quick 5-minute break, and then we'll switch gears into talking more about group dynamics and conflict. So enjoy your 5-minute break, and we'll touch base in 5 minutes. All right, guys. So let's switch gears. We've talked about what motivates individuals and how to use gamification when we aren't feeling particularly motivated. Now let's talk about groups and group dynamics. All right. Who can tell me what synergy is? Who can tell me what synergy is? Working easily together, yes. There's a little added part to it as well. It's the interaction of two or more agents or forces so that the combined effect is greater than the sum of their parts. So, what we can accomplish together is more than what each of us can accomplish separately, even if we added it up together. So, what we can accomplish together is more than the sum of its parts. Synchronized energy, right? So typically, when people come together in a group, whether it be a sports group or doing a dreaded group project in school, or a dance team, or a chess team, or whatever it may be, they go through 5 stages. Okay, first step is forming. Pretty self-explanatory. This is when the team comes together. The second step is storming. What do you guys think this step is? Bradley says brainstorming. Christopher says struggling for a leader. Yeah, those are definitely both part of it. Storming is when you guys are figuring out, whoa, all the things that could go wrong, all the different personality flaws. This is where you guys argue for creative differences. This is, whoa, what role do we each have? We're not so sure yet. It's not going so well. Let's think about this. Norming. This is where we decide. We make up our decisions. All right? This is the norm. These are the unspoken rules. Johnny over here, leave Johnny alone when he's angry. He doesn't get motivated by screaming at him. But Sarah over here, she gets motivated when people put pressure on her. So that's what we'll do. And so, they're the leader. And they founded this band. And we'll follow them. And we trust them. The hidden rules within the group. Norming on a sports squad would be okay. So and so is the captain, and they've earned their captain spot. And if the coach is not there, we listen to the captains, that sort of thing. Performing is when you actually go out and do the job, play the game, play the gig, complete the projects, whatever it may be. And adjourning is when it's all over with, end of the season, end of the project. You go to a new workforce, whatever it may be. So I got a video for you guys. Go to the materials section, click on the link that says, what does it say? Group stages in film. Group stages in film. And watch that example. I'm sure you'll understand the example because I'm sure you've seen the movie. Group stages in film. When you're done, come back and type done in all caps with 12 exclamation points. See you then. All right. So in the movie, where did you see forming? Yeah, when they came together on the buses and they went to that first practice. Where did you see storming? When they were arguing and fighting. Where did you see norming? This norming scene was probably the most beautiful scene in the clip there. Where did you see norming? Yeah, where the strong side scene where the quarterback set the tone like you need to block for the white players and the black players, not just the white players. And so he set the tone of what was appropriate, what was normal for the practice. All right. Performing. Where was the performing stage? When they played the actual game, in the adjourning phase is when they all went off to college and broke up as a team. What other popular movies demonstrate the group stages? Sister Act 2, Facing the Giants, Friday Night Lights. Good, good. So, unfortunately, we don't have enough time for the group activity, but we do have enough time to go over conflicts and how people deal with conflicts. So, there are 5 ways people deal with conflict, and these are the conflict management styles. Because you know, when you're in a group and you go through that storming phase, you have to understand how people deal with conflict. So, the first way people deal with conflict is competing. So, some people deal with conflict in the competing way, which is they are high in assertiveness and high in uncooperativeness. It's my way or the highway. Does anyone want to admit that this is their way that they normally deal with conflicts? Another style is the accommodating style. These people are low in assertiveness and high in cooperativeness. So they just say, I'm going to go along with what everyone's saying so I can get along. Who is this? The turtle is low in assertiveness and low in cooperativeness. So they don't even want to contribute for or against. They're just like, what? I'm not in this. Who is this? Oh, let me go back one. So we have the compromising style, moderate level of assertiveness, moderate level of cooperativeness. You get some of what you want, I get some of what I want. You don't get some of what you want, I don't get some of what I want. So we both get middle ground. If this is your style, say me. And then finally, we have the collaborative style, or the OWL, both high in assertiveness and high in cooperativeness. This is the win-win scenario. I want you to get everything you want, and I want everything I want as well. So again, the two levels that are high in assertiveness, we have competition and collaboration. But the difference is competition, or the shark, is low in cooperativeness. So I'm going to stand up for what I want, but I don't really care too much about what you want. As opposed to collaboration, I'm going to stand up for what I want, but I also care about what you want. See the subtle difference? Just the one different level in cooperativeness makes a difference. Compromise is in the middle. I do care about what I want. I do care about what you want, but I don't care so much that we need to get everything that we both want. Sam says, what is it called when you step back and let others take the lead so you can watch them fall? I think that's called being a sociopath. I think that's what that one's called. Um, of course, I'm kidding, but maybe not. Sounds pretty sadistic to me. Uh, the two that are low in assertiveness are avoidance and accommodation. The difference between those two is the avoidance, they're low in assertiveness, so they don't really care what they want or getting that met, but they also don't care what other people want getting that met. So they're just like, I don't care, you guys figure it out yourself. Whereas the accommodation is just like, yeah, I don't really care too much about getting what I want. I just want to make sure you get what you want. Could be good in some scenarios, but long-term strategy, probably not the best strategy. You probably should care a little bit about what you want and getting those needs met. So this is important because when you're going through that storming phase, you can identify the way people deal with conflict, and that can become part of the unwritten rules in the norming phase. You know, oh, so and so's natural style is competition. They don't really care what anyone else wants. That's not cool with us. We're not going to let that slide. What we deal with in this group is we compromise. That's the norming phase in this group. So the conflict management styles can help you deal with your other group members. The knowledge of how they generally are and the knowledge of what is acceptable in this particular group is very important. All right, guys, that brings us to the end of our lecture. What do you have due on Thursday, guys? You got your initial post, right? Then what do you have due on Sunday? Your replies. What else? Quiz. Yes, don't forget about those things, guys. Thank you so much for attending. I hope you guys learned something or, yeah, did something. Thanks, guys. Bye. Have a good day.